The First Smokender by Don Seibert. In 1964, the Surgeon General reported that at that time 41.9% of the U.S. adult population were smoking. Jacqueline Rogers had already been trying to quit for nearly 15 years at that point. The only accepted method to quit back then was something called cold turkey, which meant quitting on one's own without any help from anybody. That's been proven to be extremely difficult to do, and very short term. It doesn't last very long. Here's Jackie discussing her frustrations on national TV on the NBC's Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder when she was 53 years old in 1976.
It was so deeply ingrained in everything I did, not just the phones and the car, the ignition keys and the cocktails and talking to people. It was everything I did. I was just an absolute compulsive smoker, and I just thought I could never quit.
I'm one of the 1/1% who are addicted to nicotine, and I can't kick it.
Tom, that's exactly how I felt. I thought certainly everyone else was in control, that they wanted to smoke because they enjoyed it. See, the point that I learned when I did my research was that I discovered that, first of all, it was addictive. I wasn't weak-willed.
It depends.
Hallelujah. Secondly, I didn't really enjoy the damn things. It was just I was so miserable without them that when I took a puff, I thought, oh, relief, heaven, you know. And the method is what's been missing in this country for all these years. I quit for 17 years, steadily, on and off.
Every night when you went to bed,
Every
right?
night when I went to bed.
Every night when I go to
I'm not
bed.
going to smoke anymore tomorrow. I'm not going to smoke. And I wake up in the morning and think, what is this important thing I'm not going to do today? Well, I'll have a cigarette and think about it because I couldn't think unless I had a cigarette. But my husband was very much part of this. He was very unhappy because I smoked. He was a young dental student when I met him, and he began from the very moment we were married practically to try to teach me all the good, rational reasons why I should not smoke. And he explained the physiology and the pathology of smoking. And so I tried to quit repeatedly, off and on and off, for 17 years. I tried everything. I tried playing games with myself. I was very ingenious. I had devices to quit smoking you wouldn't believe. And I tried all of the local Cancer Society programs and the 5-day thing, and I tried a few. I read every book, and I would quit for a day or a week or a month, sometimes for 2 months. But I would be so miserable, so absolutely miserable without a cigarette, that I felt life wasn't worth bothering with while I wasn't smoking. And finally one day, about 10 years ago, John, my husband, said, Jackie, you've got to find a way. Finally I tried a psychiatrist, and I had gone to hypnosis and so on, all very unsuccessful for me. And I said, but how can I do it, John? I've tried everything. I surrender. I give up. I'm tired of quitting. I'm emotionally exhausted from quitting. And I feel like I'm not worth very much anyhow. My willpower I must have
Really
no willpower.
stink.
Stink. I just had no regard for myself. So he said, Jackie, you've solved other problems. You've got to find the way for yourself. You've looked to the experts. There aren't any for you. You go back to the books. You find out about this madness, and you solve the problem for yourself. So I had a year's sabbatical from housework and children and things like that. The children took care of things, and my husband did. And I researched it, and I looked into it, and I found all the mythology. It's a lot of baloney that they tell us. We smokers have had one of the greatest snow jobs about what the smoking problem really is, and that it is a nasty little habit that's dependent upon your willpower and your marvelous intellect, and all that sort of thing. It isn't that at all.
Jackie's husband John insisted that she quit smoking, and he challenged her to find a method that really worked for her. Clearly, she had to solve that problem or let it destroy her marriage and family and everything else. After doing extensive research and creating that new methodology for herself, she took it to her friends, and then, with support from her loving husband John, took it to market in 1969, and they called it a product called Smokenders. Jackie will always be called the first Smokender, and it's been proven to be very effective. For the next 24 years, the percentage of U.S. adults who smoked dropped down from 41.9% to 24%. That's a reduction of nearly 18%. During that time, Jackie and Smokenders flourished throughout the United States, Canada, and internationally. Times were very good. At one point in time, they even had 30 classes going on simultaneously in the New York area. More than 1,000 moderators were to travel around the major U.S. cities and present a 7-week course over the years. Jackie Rogers had already solved the smoking problem when the big tobacco and big pharma people got their massive budgets together and started introducing patches, gums, mints, drugs, and they funded the efforts of the CDC, FDA, Lung Association, Cancer Society, and they controlled the dialogue on smoking. Here are 7 CEOs of the 7 largest tobacco companies in the United States swearing under oath before Congress that cigarettes were not addictive. May they rest in peace, Jackie, because you've outlived all of these guys and all but 2 of their companies. They didn't know what we know about you and your tenacity. Later, as the internet and technology were quickly evolving, and since Smokenders' method had worked so well for me, my family purchased the company and its copyrighted materials and transformed that into something called Smokenders Online, based entirely upon the same exact methodology invented by Jackie, with her full support. Today, smokers can access the course via the internet, complete the 7-week course in the comfort of their own home, and safely quit smoking. There are many students taking the course as I speak. Despite all the money and resources of some of the richest industries on the planet, it took a housewife with a passion to really solve the smoking puzzle. Here's Jackie at age 94 relating how she accomplished this feat.
And so the first thing I did, and then for a long time, was every time I wanted to light up, I said, why am I doing that? Well, I was either tired or hungry or stressed or some trigger thing happened or whatever. So I had file folders, you know, the classic bookkeeping or office file folders. And for everything I said I'm lighting up because, or I want to light up because, I would put that heading on the tab. I ended up with 137 different things. So now I say, oh God, this is too big, too big. And I talk to John all the time. And, no, John, Jackie, it's not too big for you. You've done harder things. You can do this. So I took each one and I said, well, what do I do about that? Okay, if I'm tired, I need some boost of energy. What can I do about that? And so my limited knowledge of nutrition at the time, and I said, okay, I know sugar gives me a boost. I'll have a little orange juice instead of lighting up.
How did you put that all into a timeline?
Oh, well, at first I didn't realize it was going to be a timeline. I just knew I didn't want to go cold turkey.
Of course, when you were doing that, you weren't purposely trying to design a course. You were trying to
Oh,
quit.
no. Oh, no. I was trying to save my marriage.
Yeah.
It had gotten to a pretty bad point.
And yes, Jackie did solve that puzzle and saved her marriage at the same time. She even wrote a best-selling book on the subject called You Can Stop Smoking. Today, she's outlived all of her naysayers and made it to 100 years of age and wisdom. Jackie fulfilled her promise to John. She had given birth to Joan, Jim, Lila, and Peter naturally. But she also invented a younger baby called Smokenders. In my church last Sunday, the message was how one small act of service can have a lasting impact. I immediately thought of Jackie. In the grand scheme of things, what Jackie provided to society only took a real small part of her 100 years, but what a lasting impact it's having on so many. Jackie is living proof of the benefits she derived from solving the smoking problem. I too am a beneficiary as I graduated from the course, as did each of the more than 2 million Smokenders graduates. You know, the CDC estimates that people who quit by age 40 can increase their life expectancy by an average of 9.8 years. Think about that for a moment. More than 2 million graduates of Smokenders have, on average, lived about 9.8 years longer as a result of Jackie's course. That's 19,600,000 years of human life added to our society by Jackie's singular efforts. What a fantastic accomplishment. Needless to say, Jackie, you provided quite an impact so far. And you can be assured that we're here to carry your legacy forward on your behalf until the last smoker on earth has quit. To celebrate this moment and to provide you with a more fun puzzle to solve as you begin your second 100 years, we've created this little puzzle for you. It should be quite easy since you've coined most of the phrases on the puzzle pieces. So go have some fun in solving that at your leisure, Jackie. From the more than 2 million graduates, licensees, and moderators around the world, we wish you the happiest of birthdays, Jackie. You will always be the first Smokender.